January 20th, 1976. Yeah? Prabhupada took his morning walk in the fields to the east of the building, examining the proposed site of the big future temple. Saurabha, our ISKCON architect, is drawing up plans for a structure at least 350 feet square. Prabhupada's concern for the future development of his Gurukul system is growing as more correspondence comes in from the west. The latest arrived from Jayatirtha explaining the difficulties they are facing in complying with government regulations in Dallas. Several proposals for relocation of the school have been touted, but nothing definite has been decided. Srila Prabhupada wrote him a long letter thoroughly outlining his desires for educating the society's children. He condemned modern educational systems, saying they meted the greatest violence upon the young by training them as sense gratifiers. I think you read this yesterday. Yeah. Until...
You can come down to the last prayer.
Okay. His solution was to send the young boys to the newly developing Vrindavan Gurukul. To live in Vrindavan and to grow up there is the greatest fortune. To spend even one fortnight in Mathura Mandal guarantees liberation. He described Krishna Balaram Mandir as the finest in the world. He said that by living there, the boys will be able to follow all the practices of brahmachari life and become very blissful. There are many other advantages also. The fact that living in India is much cheaper would ease the burden on the parents. Therefore, in all ways, it is obvious that the best place to have this Gurukul is in Vrindavan. This should be done before the US government starts to cause a disturbance which will harm us, and before we have to waste large sums of money on a risky endeavor which may turn out to be a complete failure. In the evening, His Divine Grace told us more about his life before establishing ISKCON. He explained that when he began publishing Back to Godhead, many people appreciated it, including his god brother, Bon Maharaj and others. One librarian friend asked him, "Why not write books? Paper is thrown away, but a book is kept." So in 1958, he wrote Easy Journey to Other Planets. In 1960, he began the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, publishing the first part in 1962. In 1963 came part 2, and by the end of 1964, part 3. Each printing was 1100 copies, the cost donated by a wealthy business magnate. In 1965, he came to Mayapur to pay respects to his departed Guru Maharaj. The next day he returned to Calcutta and sailed for the USA. He took 27 days via the Suez Canal and the Straits of Gibraltar. For 2 days at the sea, Prabhupada had severe chest pains and thought he might die at any time. Later in New York, he became ill with the same complaint, and doctors told him that it was a heart attack. He understood this was the same as the trouble aboard ship, but at that time he did not know what it was. He said that in New York, the chanting of the devotees had saved him. Before leaving India, the American embassy in Delhi had bought 19 copies of each volume of his Srimad Bhagavatam and given a standing order for all the future volumes. They then sent them to different universities and libraries in America. After Prabhupada arrived in America, he went to one library and offered his books, but they already had them. Then he went to a university in Philadelphia, and it also had obtained them. One teacher paid Prabhupada's fare from Butler, Pennsylvania to the main bus terminal in Philadelphia. Prabhupada went from there to New York, where he rented a small room. At that time, he had an idea to get a small temple, so he wrote to a rich man in Bombay asking him for money. The man agreed, but the government disallowed it. although Prabhupada got special permission to collect funds from the resident Indians. Then he went to the Salvation Army asking for help, but they refused. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it's very interesting. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is talking about his initial days when he was, when he landed when he got down in New York. And I think we remember from other Lilamrit also that he was constantly requesting people to sponsor him when he would go to the US. So he was just asking everyone, and somehow he met one person, and he heard that, okay, this person's son is in the US. So he asked, why don't you ask your son to sponsor me? And this person agreed. So his name was Gopal Agrawal. So he had an American wife. So they were living in Butler, Pennsylvania. So Srila Prabhupada came. And in Boston he arrived, and he writes in his diary, when I came, I did not know whether to go left or right. So yeah, the initial stories, the struggle he had for 1 year before he moved to New York, it's very inspiring. And yeah, we can continue next time on more. So we read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, chapter 4.
Chapter 4 and the first one.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Leela Volume 2 Chapter 4. Srimad Avendra Puri's devotional service. So we'll read the first introduction to the chapter first. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the fourth chapter. Passing along the path of Chhatra Bhoga and coming to Vridhamantreswara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached the border of Orissa. On his way, he enjoyed transcendental bliss by chanting and begging alms in different villages. In this way, he reached the celebrated village of Remuna, where there is a deity of Gopinath. There he narrated the story of Madhavendra Puri as he heard it from his spiritual master Ishwara Puri. The narration is as follows. One night while in Govardhan, Madhavendra Puri dreamed that the Gopal deity was within the forest. The next morning, he invited his neighborhood friends to accompany him to excavate the deity from the jungle. He then established the deity of Sri Gopalji on top of Govardhan hill with great pomp. Gopal was worshipped and the Annakut festival was observed. This festival was known everywhere, and many people from the neighboring villages came to join. One night the Gopal deity again appeared to Madhavendra Puri in a dream and asked him to go to Jagannath Puri to collect some sandalwood pulp and smear it on the body of the deity. Having received this order, Madhavendra Puri immediately started for Orissa. Traveling through Bengal, he reached Remuna village and there received a pot of condensed milk, kheer, offered to the deity of Gopinath ji. This pot of condensed milk was stolen by Gopinath and delivered to Madhavendra Puri. Since then, the Gopinath deity had been known as Kirchor Gopinath, the deity who stole the pot of condensed milk. After reaching Jagannath Puri, Madhavendra Puri received permission from the king to take out one mana of sandalwood and 8 ounces of camphor. Aided by 2 men, he brought these things to Remuna. Again, he saw in a dream that Gopal at Govardhan Hill desired that very sandalwood to be turned into pulp mixed with camphor and smeared over the body of Gopinathji. Understanding that would satisfy the Gopal deity at Govardhan, Madhavendra Puri executed the order and returned to Jagannath Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated the story for Lord Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees and praised the pure devotional service of Madhavendra Puri. When he recited some verses composed by Madhavendra Puri, he went into an ecstatic mood. But when he saw that people were assembled, he checked himself and ate some sweet rice prasad. Thus he passed that night, and the next morning he again started for Jagannath Puri. Jai Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of Ishwara Puri. Who is Ishwara Puri? Spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri, the deity in the Gopinath deity in Remuna, it's famous for because he stole kheer. Kheer is rice pudding, condensed rice. So sorry, bro. Yeah. So kheer. So when he tasted this kheer in Gopinath temple, he liked it very much. And he thought, oh, if only I could offer this to Gopal in Govardhan. But I think, do you remember the whole story? The pot was finished, but at night, no, not at night, but the Gopinath deity, he asks the pujari, I have hidden some kheer for Madhavendra Puri. Will you please go and give it to him? Because he had this desire, I have hid it. So while the pujari was offering, Gopinath hid some behind the back. So he told the pujari, you take out and give it to him. But Madhavendra Puri had already left. So this pujari went out and was running around. Who is Madhavendra Puri? Madhavendra Puri. Yeah, the Lord has stolen. The Lord has stolen some sweet rice for you. Who is Madhavendra Puri? So Madhavendra Puri didn't want to show himself because he thought, okay, the Lord has stolen and now people are going to glorify me because the Lord had stolen something for him. So, but anyway, the pujari found him and he gave this to him. So then he could cook it himself for Gopal. So after that, he was known as Kheer Chor Gopinath. Chor is steal. Chor is a thief. And Kheer Chor. So the Gopinath who stole the thief for his devotee. So the deity is known by a pastime that he did for his devotee.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
it happened in Orissa.
Remuna is, I think, in Orissa. I'm not sure. Let me read again. I think I've not been to Kirchor Gopinath, but I think it's there.
And Madhavendra Puri established this deity in Vrindavan, Govardhan.
Yeah, this Gopalji is in Vrindavan. But Gopalji desired that he get sandalwood pulp from Orissa. So when he was going to Orissa, he
Asked the king.
yeah, he came across, he took darshan of Gopinath, and there he took sweet rice, and he wanted to offer this sweet rice, same sweet rice, to Gopal, and he tasted. So that's how the story goes.
And when we do Prabhuji this Chandana Yatra, in which month we do this Chandana Yatra?
When it's very hot, so
In May or
I'm not sure exactly the date, but at least when it's hot during the hot season in Vrindavan. It's very cooling.
Okay. So like in Simhachalam also, you know Simhachalam?
Yeah.
In India, not here.
Oh, in India.
In India, there is Lord Narsingadev.
Yeah.
It's a combination of Varaha, Lakshmi, Narsingadev. So they also apply Chandan. They apply 4 times. Basically, if you see the Lord Varaha Narsingadev, it looks like a Shivalingam because they applied throughout the year this Chandan. So they applied 4 times. Each time 120 kilos of Chandan you have to apply to the Lord. So for that, many devotees give their names to make this Chandan. So and in Shastras also mentioned that whoever apply Chandan on the body of Lord, their ancestors, their dynasty will grow continuously.
Yeah. So the deity also, yeah, when it's hot, it's very cooling. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Right. So we'll start with text 1 of the chapter. Yasmai dhatum chorayan shira bandham gopinathak shira chorabhido bhut Shri Gopala pradurasid vasasan yat premnatam madhavendram natosmi. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinath, celebrated thereafter as Kheer Chor. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopal, the deity at Govardhan, appeared to public vision. Purport. Bhaktivinoda Thakur annotates that this Gopal deity was originally installed by Vajra, the grandson of Krishna. Madhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopal and established him on top of Govardhan hill. This Gopal deity is still situated at Nath Dwar, and is under the management of descendant of Vallabhacharya. The worship of deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase variety of prasad by paying a small price. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayham Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuva Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Dev Satarine. Prabhupada writes in the purport that this Gopal deity that Madhavendra Puri found was established by son of Krishna. So it was more than 5,000 years old. So when Krishna left his son Vajra, he established many deities across different parts of India to begin worship of Krishna. So this Gopal deity is one of them. So, and Madhavendra Puri, he rediscovered Gopal and established on top of Govardhan hill. And it's now, Prabhupada writes, it's in Nasdwar and under the management of Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya is another sampradaya, Vaishnava sampradaya. They worship Krishna as, I forgot exactly the detail, but they are Vallabhacharya.
One question.
Yeah.
Where Madhavendra Puri discovered Gopalji in Vrindavan?
In Vrindavan.
He discovered Gopalji in Vrindavan and he put it on the Govardhan and
Yeah.
worshipping there.
Yeah, so normally the deities sometimes they have, what they do is when they want to appear, they appear, and then they also just don't want to manifest, so they sometimes go underground, sometimes they get hidden, and whenever they again want to be worshipped, uh, they come, they manifest themselves, and the devotees they ask they ask the devotees to help. So this time the Gopal deity, he asked Madhavendra Puri, his devotee, to please dig him up from the grounds and then establish him. So there are many deities like this who are hidden underground, especially when the Mughals came to India, the rulers, they were smashing the deities. They didn't like, they said this is idol worship, so they were smashing them. So lots of these deities were hidden underground, hidden, or they were moved to another place. So many deities, they have very big history, and Gopal deity is one of them. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord went to Jagannath Puri and visited Lord Jagannath's temple. He also met with Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. All these pastimes have been elaborately explained by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his book Chaitanya Bhagavat. So you're reading Chaitanya Bhagavat, yeah? Yeah, so this is by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we have three prominent biographies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Charitamrita is by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. There is Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur, and there is Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das Thakur. So Vrindavan Das Thakur, he is actually incarnation of Vyasdev. Vrindavan Das Thakur. He wrote Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in many places, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he writes this, that these pastimes have already been described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. I don't want to describe it again and make the book very thick. So normally it is a sign of respect that if something is already described, you just refer it to as someone who is more senior. So something that is not described in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj describes it more here, Chaitanya Charitamrita. But Srila Prabhupada, he chose to give purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think there are a few reasons. I heard one being that it also has the philosophical aspect. It's not just stories, but a lot of philosophy explanation on the stories also. So if we want to read more pastimes, it's like Prabhu is doing. We can refer to Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat also. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Therefore, I very humbly submit that since these incidents have already been nicely described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I would be very proud to repeat the same thing. And this would not be very good. I do not have such powers. So he's glorifying Vrindavan Das Thakur here. He's saying, if I repeat the same thing, it's like thinking I'm more proud and better to describe the stories that have already been described. So in this case, the Lord goes to Jagannath Puri, and where he also meets Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya is one of the scholars, one of the prominent scholars, but initially he is more inclined to the impersonal aspect of the Lord. So when he first comes and he sees Lord Jagannath and he faints, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he sees this 24-year-old sannyasi, he is shocked. Such a bright person, he is lying down. So he just goes and checks if is this person alive or not. And how he does is he takes a cotton swab, and he puts the cotton just in front of the nose. And if the cotton swab is moving, then his conclusion is, okay, the person is alive. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he is a great scholar, but later he becomes a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is a long story which can be read. I think it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, but it can also be read in Chaitanya Bhagavat. I am therefore presenting in short codes all those events already described in Chaitanya Mangal, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Some of the incidents in his codes he did not describe elaborately, and so I shall try to describe them in this book. So interesting. The ones that Vrindavan Das Thakur did not describe very at length, then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes it more in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I thus offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. I hope that I will not offend his lotus feet by this action. So this is the etiquette. When you are commenting or when you are presenting, we very nicely preserve what is given by the acharyas. You never step over their explanation, right? It is in modern theory, it's considered good. Actually, you step over, it's considered good. For example, we have a scientist that gives a theory, and there is another student, and this student, if he steps over and says that theory is not very good, my theory is good, then he is good. He is considered a better scientist. But in Vaishnava etiquette, the line is preserved. You share your realization, but you do not step over the explanation of the previous acharyas. And Srila Prabhupada, he took such great care in presenting us with the bona fide explanation of the acharyas. Right? It is said the Vedas, they are very vast, and it's like a tree. The tree is, let's say a banyan tree is so big, but the tree has many things, branches, leaves, but the main thing of the tree is the fruit, the one that we can eat. So similarly, the Vedas are very vast, but the fruit of these Vedas is Srimad Bhagavatam. It's Amala Purana. So this fruit is the ripened fruit of the Vedas, but it's passed down. Like if the fruit is very ripe and if it drops, then it breaks. But if it is passed from one person to another, then the fruit is preserved. So similarly, this ripe fruit of Srimad Bhagavatam is passed from parampara, and it comes down. So it's actually very fortunate. There is very less things in the material world. There are very less things that are preserved. Not if we see most of the scriptures, even Mahabharata, it's very difficult to preserve. It was changed a little. It's because it's so big and not many commentaries. Even Mahabharata, to find the actual unpreserved Mahabharata is difficult. But Srimad Bhagavatam and all these shastras that we have in our Vaishnava Sampradaya, it's very nicely preserved and handed down to us. So that's very fortunate actually.
May I say something?
Yeah.
mentioned that we should not step over the Vaishnavas, as he mentioned. It has happened in the case of Vallabhacharya. When he was writing commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he didn't refer our acharyas. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that you are such a great Vaishnava, how you could not as taking reference to our acharyas, your previous acharyas. It happened. So after that, Vallabhacharya felt a little bit sad that I didn't look. He told that it was my mistake. He was asking for forgiveness. After that, he had commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. And one more point is, as Prabhuji mentioned that Srimad Mahabharata, all other scriptures, Nalanda. There was a great university in India during ancient days, Nalanda University. So during Muslim kings, when they were invading India, they burned out this university, Nalanda. In that university, there are so many books, hundreds and thousands of books about different, about medicine, about metallurgy, all the things. All were burned into ashes. But the most beautiful thing is, even though those are all material things about medicine or metallurgy, all these things, or aerospace engineering. But the best thing is, we have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana. That is the best thing, that even though those are lost, not a problem. But these things are preserved by the Vaishnavas. For that we should be thankful to our great acharyas.
Yeah. Yeah. So continuing. I thus offer my respectful obeisances. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded toward Jagannath Puri with 4 of his devotees, and he chanted the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, with great eagerness. Each day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally went to a village and collected a great quantity of rice and other grains for the preparation of prasad. There were many rivers on the way, and at each river there was a tax collector. They did not hinder the Lord. However, he showed them mercy. Finally, he reached the village of Remuna. Purport. There is a railway station named Baleswara, and 5 miles to the west is a village named Remuna. The temple of Kirchor Gopinath still exists in that village, and within the temple, the Samadhi tomb of Rasikananda Prabhu, the chief disciple of Shyamananda Goswami, can still be found. So, a very prominent acharya in our line, Jiva Goswami, he was one of the 6 Goswamis. He had 3 prominent disciples, Srinivas, Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamananda. So they were learning under Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan, and Shyamananda's disciple is Rasikananda, and his tomb can be found in Kirchur Gopinath temple there. The deity of Gopinath in the temple at Remuna was very attractive. Lord Chaitanya visited the temple and offered his obeisances with great devotion. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of the Gopinath deity, the helmet of flowers on the head of Gopinath fell down and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he was offering obeisances, the flowers fell from the head and landed on the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So same thing happened when yesterday was appearance day of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, yeah? Sorry, disappearance day. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his father, brought the child Bhaktisiddhanta, his name was Bimal Prasad. He brought him in front of Jagannath. Garland also fell. on top of because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was actually preaching, but he was also praying to Lord Vishnu to please send someone to help him carry the mission of the Lord. He was praying something called a ray of Vishnu. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is also called the ray of Vishnu, because he was such powerful personality. He was like directly sent by Krishna to help Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And when he was born, the umbilical cord was like a sacred thread around. And then when he brought him in front of the Rath cart, the Jagannath, then a garland fell. So from that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur could confirm, okay, this child is what the answer to my prayers, you know. And it was true how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he established Krishna consciousness so much in during that time. And he was really... Did we discuss something yesterday, Prabhu, about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Not much. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so he was... I could just say a little bit. People would call him the living encyclopedia, because he was so expert in everything, and so his memory was so sharp. He was called Shrutidhar, meaning if he heard something once, he would never forget it for the rest of his life. So that's how powerful he was. And once when he was small, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a mango, and he ate the mango and without offering. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he came and he scolded the child, how can you eat something that's not offered to Krishna? You know, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he felt so guilty, and he took a vow, for the rest of my life I will not eat mango. And then he never ate mango after that. And whenever some disciple would give him mangoes, he would say, I'm an offender, I'm not going to take mango. So, yeah, the temple of Jagannath was, that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a magistrate in Jagannath Puri. He had a very high position. During those times, any Indian, the highest position they could have, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had. And even the British, they were very respectful to him, because he was such a great personality. And he helped in manage the Jagannath temple, and he was the district magistrate, and he had that was a very high governmental position. So he used that influence to present Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, whenever he would walk, when any Mayavadi would see him, they would run away actually, because it is said he preached with Bhagavatam in one hand and shoes in another hand, because he was so strict in case of those who were not, let's say, misrepresenting the Shastras. He would really smash them, and people would call him the Lion Guru, because he was so presenting the actual thing. Any misrepresentation according to the Shastras, he would just smash them. And people, even the great scholars of Mayavadi school, they would be afraid to engage in any kind of talking with his disciples. So they were very afraid. So he had that much influence. And he was a real revolutionary, because he started the modern Hare Krishna movement. Many things that he started, Srila Prabhupada applied it in his society, in ISKCON. For example, main thing was printing of books. He started this mass printing, you know. Uh, he even had the first press. He put the printing machine in the temple room, and he said the deities will be very pleased to hear the printing going on. So he was so fond of books because he knew books are so important. They are like delivery system of ideas, you know. For example, throughout society we have seen that books deliver ideas. For example, Darwin's theory. Nobody has read The Origin of Species. That is the book he wrote about evolution. But the theory of Darwin is so much prevalent because of this book. So every idea, it starts from a book. So these books that contain such valuable information, so Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he very much focused the distribution and production of books. And when Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Radhakund, then he gave him this instruction: if you ever get money, print books. So Srila Prabhupada, he also took that to his heart, and he really focused on printing books and distributing them. So we were in Jagannath Puri. We can continue a few slokas. Yeah. All the servants of the deity were struck with wonder due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intense love, his exquisite beauty and his transcendental qualities. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was just 24 years old. You can imagine. He took sannyas when he was 24, and he was so beautiful to look at. Just you can see, he was so beautiful, and he has such intense love for Gopinath deity. All the servants of the deity, all the pujaris were shocked, to see him just in person. Because of their love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they served him in many ways. And that night the Lord stayed at the temple of Gopinath. The Lord remained there because he was eager to receive the remnants of sweet rice offered to Gopinath deity, having heard a narration from his spiritual masters Iswarapuri of what had once happened there. The deity was known widely as Khirchor Gopinath, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his devotees the story of how the deity became so famous. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed back just to taste this sweet rice that was offered, because he had heard this story from Iswarapuri about how this particular deity had stolen sweet rice for his devotee. So he wanted to taste this sweet rice. Formerly, the deity had stolen a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. Therefore, he became very famous as the Lord who stole the sweet rice. So there is another another deity who is also famous for serving his deity, Sakshi Gopal. It's also a very nice story. Once Sri Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling the story of Madhavendra Puri stealing Madhavendra Puri getting this sweet rice from the stolen, the one stolen by Khirchor Gopinath. So he is narrating this story to all the devotees present there. Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. After circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govind Kund and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. So devotees then they would sleep beneath the tree. Right? And the Goswamis, it is said, they slept. Every 2 nights they would change trees. You know. Yeah. Very austere. While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown coward boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and smiling addressed him as follows. So one coward boy came when he was resting and came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and he said, "Please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing?" So normally the sadhus, they are expected to beg, that's how they get the food. But Madhavendra Puri was not begging. Whatever came, he would accept. So this coward boy, he brought milk because he knew Madhavendra Puri was hungry. So this boy asked Madhavendra Puri, "Please drink this milk, and why don't you beg? What kind of meditation are you doing? Why are you so busy?" Something like that. Yeah. When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst. Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting?" Madhavendra Puri asks this boy, "Where are you coming from? Where do you live? And how did you know I am fasting?" The boy replied, "Sir, I am a coward boy and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. In my village, no one should go hungry. That is why I brought you the milk. In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables." The woman who came here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. The boy continued, "I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you." Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more, and Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder. So this boy came out of nowhere, and he was so beautiful that Madhavendra Puri's thirst also disappeared. And then he said, "In my village, no one should fast." And there was one woman who came here to take water, and she gave me this milk to give to you. So I will go now. I have to milk the cows, but I will come back and get the pots. So until then, you finish your milk. And the boy disappeared, and he could not be seen anywhere. And Madhavendra Puri was filled with wonder. Who is this beautiful boy who knew I was fasting, and who came with this pot of milk? Who is this boy? He was just in mind, he was wondering. After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned. So after drinking the milk, he washed the pot, and then he was looking, when is this boy coming? Because the boy had said he would come back. So he was looking, but the boy never came back. Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of night he dozed a little, and his external activities stopped. In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and, holding his hand, took him to a bush in the jungle. So he was resting, and when he was in the dream, he saw the same boy come to him, and then the boy took his hand and said, "Come with me," and he took him to a bush in the jungle. The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, "I reside in this bush, and because of this I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, wind and scorching rain." So the boy told Madhavendra Puri, I'm living here, and because I'm living without any shade, then because of the climate, I'm very much affected. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill. So please ask everyone to dig, and sorry, not dig, to just from the bush, this is not underground, this is the bush, and take me out and put me nicely on top of the hill. Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. For many days I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come to serve me? So this boy was saying, because this boy was the Gopal himself, same boy. I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. My name is Gopal. I am the lifter of Govardhan hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. When the Mohammedans attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack. So when there was attack, the priest who was worshipping this deity, the deity is saying himself that they hid me in the bush, and the priest ran away. Since the priest went away, I have been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream. Madhavendra Puri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love. Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. Thus he became tranquil. After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Puri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows. I think we can stop here. So next time Madhavendra Puri will start speaking to the villagers according to the instruction of Gopal. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki jai, Madhavendra Puri ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Any comments or anything you'd like to add?
Prabhu, you mentioned that one girl bring you water or something. She is Srimati Radharani?
No, just one woman. I think it was just one woman who came to take water from the well, and this woman saw Madhavendra Puri, and then this woman told this boy, give the milk to this sadhu. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.